Washington Post this morning in version 1,965,000 times. The walls are closing in now. Headline, President Trump is facing heat from his MAGA base. Why? MAGA leaders erupted this week after Trump said the U.S. needs more foreign workers. And newly released Jeffrey Epstein emails, some about Trump, fueled a persistent rift. They're going to do their best. They got him now. They got him now. It's all over. He'll be out by Christmas. Dream on. Dream on. What happens to people? What happens to people when the hatred just inhabits their brains, their souls, their hearts, their mouths? Remember Katie Couric from the Today Show? She's still around with a podcast. There was some scary news this week. Yesterday, Senator John Fetterman evidently experienced a heart episode and collapsed and got some minor injuries. He's doing okay. He's reportedly going to be fine. So we're praying for Senator Fetterman for his swift recovery. Before his accident, he sat down with Katie Couric. Now, she used to be the Today Show morning sweetheart. Remember the chippy smile and hi Matt. Good morning. Good morning. There's Will. Let's go to Willard at the weather wall. Now, she's just a miserable shrew who hates people like Charlie Kirk. And the Charlie Kirk thing blows my mind. Look, Katie, he died. They killed him, okay? An assassin killed him. Why do you want to keep beating him up? And here's Katie Couric supposedly interviewing John Fetterman. You'd think there's questions about the shutdown, about the rabid left taking over the Democrat Party, about the future of Chuck Schumer in leadership, all kinds of things you could talk about. The border. Instead, she wants to know why people loved Charlie Kirk. She wanted some answers from John Fetterman as to why Trump and Vance paid respects to Erica and the kids and those of us mourning the assassination of a 31-year-old influencer like Charlie Kirk. This is not made up. This isn't AI. This actually happened on Katie Couric's podcast.
Do you think that flags should have been flown at half staff? Do you think his body should have been flown on Air Force Two? Do you think he should have posthumously be given the Presidential Medal of Freedom? I think some people felt that was perhaps over the top in terms of mourning someone like Charlie Kirk. How did you feel about that?
I'd say that was his choice and his prerogative. And that was really entirely up to him.
Did you have any issues now in hindsight over some of the things that Charlie Kirk said and some of the rhetoric he used during his life?
I didn't agree with much of it. I didn't closely follow his specific kinds of views, but I did.
I'm sure you learned about them after his death, though.
No, I haven't done a deep dive on it. We've all seen that terrible video. Perhaps if you've seen the actual video, I have. And it's like appalling. And that's part of the political violence. And from what I'm saying, it's like that's unacceptable. And engaging in a debate and views I strongly disagree on, that's part of the American democracy. And for me, it's that would never justify what's happened, and I just chose not to take the opportunity to argue his views after children lost his father in the most violent public way. I mean, so that's, I would say the equivalent on the left might be, say, Mr. Piker. I strongly disagree with his views, but I'm appalled if something like that happened to him. Oh my God. I mean, that's, we have to disagree in better ways where, you're going to solve it by shooting people And that's why the kinds of rhetoric, we have to turn the temperature down. Extreme rhetoric makes it easier for extreme reactions or to justify them.
I think some people might say Charlie Kirk's rhetoric was extreme. You know, I think that's the conversation that happened. People condemned political violence, but they also felt a great deal of discomfort with his language, suggesting that these kinds of words lead to violence. I don't know. I'm just kind of sharing my observations as I saw the conversations unfold.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we agree that we probably didn't agree with much of what he said. And I think I'm sure we both agree that you shouldn't shoot people, and you shouldn't execute them in public. And I think that's two things must be true. That free speech, I'm an absolute free speech guy, and you have the right to say these things, and you definitely also have the right not to get shot by sharing your views.
I had to call my team after I saw that clip and say, is that real or is that AI? Did somebody pretend that Katie Couric has turned into such a soulless ghoul that she wants to debate whether or not Charlie had it coming? That's what she's saying. And, of course, that lazy, pathetic excuse of interviewing by saying some people say, yeah, you're saying it. You're saying it, you miserable, wicked woman. It's the craziest thing when they killed him, Katie. You don't need to worry about his voice anymore. Now, I know you got to worry about the millions of people who want to carry his legacy forward, but he is dead, right? You do know that, right, Katie? You don't think he's coming back, do you? The wickedness of these people. Scott Jennings reposted that exchange on X, our colleague here at Salem and CNN contributor, and Scott wrote, these aren't questions that Katie Couric was asking. These are just her hateful views being laundered as questions in the hopes someone will join her ghoulish attempts to smear Charlie Kirk and blame him for his own murder. Fetterman, Scott writes, once again, proves his backbone and his moral compass. I'm just so sickened by people like Katie Couric who strut around with this moral superiority, and I'm sorry to name call here, and I know Tracy gets mad at me when I call, she's vermin. She's trash. What a garbage line of questioning. But maybe that wicked ghoul is letting us get a glimpse into the souls of these people marching around celebrating Charlie's death. That perhaps maybe she has the key. Maybe that's how they feel. Charlie, he had it coming. The rhetoric he used, yeah, that's what happens. You had what's coming to you. It was over the top. People actually loved this guy. His body was on Air Force 2 because he was friends with Vice President J.D. Vance. Have you thought about how terrible that is? Wow. Like my friend Mark always says, Trump derangement takes smart people, makes them stupid, and it takes nice people and makes them mean, although I'm not sure Katie Couric was ever nice. She played nice on TV. Maybe I'll tell you the story about when I was sent over to England to cover Princess Diana's funeral, and I was standing behind Katie Couric in the first class line at the airlines, and she was throwing a hissy fit because one of her entourage didn't get upgraded into first class. Not sure she was ever a real nice lady. Anyhow, 800-655-MIKE. We're in the Relief Factor studios. Welcome aboard. It's Friday. We made it. And incidentally, a lot of people are joking about Katie sounds like she had like 4 packs of Newports this morning. It does. She sounds like she's got that smoker voice. Yeah, that whining. Some people are wondering if Charlie didn't have it coming. Come on, Senator Fetterman. Dive in. Didn't he bring it on himself? Because he was a conservative who preached the gospel and loved talking about God and the Lord and believed in faith and family and freedom? Some people think that he deserved it. Right, Senator? What a monster. What a monster. 800-655-MIKE. Gosh, I wouldn't talk that way about my dog.